Welcome to Too Old, Too New, the music discovery podcast that brings you something old, something new, something Nate, something Bruce. I'm Nate Runkle, host of the Yo, That's My Jawn podcast, and with me, as always, is my good friend Bruce Warren from WXPN. The premise of this show is simple. Each week, we bring you two songs apiece. One new song that has been metaphorically spinning our turntable platters, and one old song that we believe still absolutely matters. What is up, Bruce?
What is up is the fucking temperature is up. The
goodness.
heat is up.
It is brutal.
The heat is on. What wasn't it a Miami Vice song? The heat is on.
Little Glenn Fry.
Right? Little Glenn Fry. Come on. Well, the heat is really on today. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
it's
right.
It's absolutely brutal, but somehow we're making it through it, right?
Exactly. And did I tell you I joined a neighborhood township pool?
Oh.
Up in my neighborhood, I belong to the Belmont Hills Pool. Shout out to the Belmont Hills Pool. It's basically two pools, a lot of grass to sit on, and a snack bar. That's the best. Like, I don't need a fucking country club. Just give me a pool, and a snack bar, and a little piece of grass, and I am there. So thank goodness for the Belmont Hills Pool.
That sounds delightful and very necessary.
And are you doing good? Yeah, you okay?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Things that
Excellent.
I was thinking about taking a break this summer from Yo, That's My Jawn, but then when the floodgates opened and everybody said no, you will not. So it looks like pedal to the metal. Let's keep going.
Hey man, that's it. Rock and roll.
That's right. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Well, let's get into some music picks here. Do you want to start off with your new?
Yeah, I guess so. Thank you. So I didn't know who this artist was or this song was literally until yesterday. The name of the artist is Midwife, and it's actually the work of a person named Madeline Elizabeth Johnston, a singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. And I had to do a little bio digging, a little research. Originally from Santa Fe, Albuquerque. Moved to Denver to go to college, where she got into the music scene there. Put out a bunch of records. During the pandemic, moved back to Santa Fe, Albuquerque. And I haven't been able to listen to all the music that is available, but I love what I hear. Madeline has an extremely unique voice. And the song that I heard yesterday was this song called Rock and Roll Never Forgets. Okay, so we all know what that is, right? Rock and roll never forgets, right? So the cedar thing. So I'm going, oh wow, cover. Let me check it out. And it couldn't be any more different than that song. So here's what attracted me to it. One of my favorite Wilco songs is "Sunken Treasure," right? And the last, I guess, verse of that song is he sings, music is my savior. I was maimed by rock and roll. I was tamed by rock and roll. I got my name from rock and roll. And as, a total music freak nerd, I completely relate to that lyric. When I heard the lyrics to this song that Madeline wrote, I was like, holy shit, this is me. This is me. It's like very sparse lyrics. And the most important thing about this song is its intimacy and its breathiness. So let's listen to it right now. And basically, that is the tempo of the song, and it just draws you in. It's like a dream. It's like a dream state. And in fact, the opening lyric is, rock and roll's a dream, please don't wake me up. And then it just takes off into this 6-7 minute territory of just ethereal beauty. So there you go. That is my pick this week.
It reminds me of some of the best Seeger Rose, like that kind of real nice, kind of like a nice bed of, like you said, just that ethereal kind of wrap yourself in it and just get taken for a ride.
Yeah, it creates its own unique sense of place. And I love that about certain kinds of songs. And, they will take you there. So, it reminds me also of, the band Chromatics. Do you ever hear the band Chromatics?
Yeah.
Okay. So they do a cover of Into the Black, Neil Young's Into the Black. And that was like my first reference point for this song. They do a very chromatic, very slow into the black version of that song by Neil. And again, it kind of pulls you into this universe. And I feel like rock and roll, like, I'm not going to say anything like these days, rock and roll, but like, I just feel like there's a lot of bands that don't take you into a place. They take you into rock and roll, but they don't take you into a really unique place. So give it up for this beautiful new song. And
well
what do you
said.
got? What do you got?
For me, earlier we were talking about how there hasn't been very many hip-hop albums this year. And I had mentioned that Common and Pete Rock were putting an album out together. And it just came out this Friday. It's called the Auditorium Volume 1. And it did not disappoint one bit. It is so fucking good. And I'm so excited because, Calm sounds like the kind of calm that I love, like Water for Chocolate era Common Sense. Resurrection era Common Sense. One day it will all make sense era Common Sense. This feels like a return to that. And Pete Rock on the beats is just like, he's just firing on all cylinders. And they do the whole album together, and it just turned out absolutely stellar. And so I wanted to pick a song from it. And the version I'm going to play a clip from obviously isn't going to be the version that is in the playlist. The playlist will be the album version. But I picked a song called When the Sun Shines Again, featuring Posthumous from De La Soul. And this version has Bilal on it. It's taken from The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. So it's actually backed by The Roots. And much like, I don't know if you remember right before B came out, that Common and Kanye performed The Food on Dave Chappelle. And that version was so explosive and so good that they ended up putting that version on B and taking off the studio version. I almost wish they did that with this song because this version is absolutely phenomenal. So this is When the Sun Shines Again by Common and Pete Rock, featuring Pasta News from De La Soul and Bilal and The Roots.
That's hot.
It's phenomenal. Like Common is easily one of my favorite MCs of all time. It comes down to not just his lyricism, but the tenor of his voice is just like it feels like hip hop to me, like that. And this song is like a perfect showcase of everything I love about Com.
I've listened. I've tracked through the album. It's fantastic. It's really good. It's really good. Every time I think of Common, I'm reminded of if you ever see Chill Moody. When you see Chill Moody again, you should ask him. Chill Moody, for those of you who don't know, is like a great person of humanity, and is an amazing rapper and hip hop musician from Philly. And we were at in 2018. We were both at South by Southwest, and Common debuted at this NPR Music. NPR Music used to do a big event, a live music thing at Stubbs. And Common debuted August Green. I don't know if you remember who that was. It was Kareem Riggins and Robert Glasper. And I remember Chill was there. And me and Chill were literally standing in the front row. And we were like rapping every song, every lyric. It was like one of the greatest nights of my life. It was unbelievable. So every time I hear Common, I think of great music, but that night in particular. But this is a very serious record that he did with Pete Rock.
For sure. And I'm just going to tip my hat to another one. LL Cool J has an album coming out, and everything I've heard off of it is phenomenal. And all of the production on it is being done by Q-Tip. So be on the lookout for that one.
Okay, I'm gonna have to rethink that now because I listened to the first two songs. I can't diss LL Cool J, right?
Right.
What the fuck? I was, it was okay. It was okay.
Well, he's up
but
there.
The two new songs, they were okay.
Yeah.
But I gotta I gotta rethink it now. Now that I know Q-Tip's involved.
That's right. I can't wait. I feel like we need to kind of return to this artist producer like full project thing because I think it lends itself to better albums. Even if in piecemeal and by song, it might not feel, but like once you get like the full picture and know what they were trying to get across, I think sometimes these things absolutely soar.
We really need a return to, Nate. We need a fucking return to the boom bap. That's what we need.
Yes.
Come on.
I'm right there with you. Like,
and the Common Pete Rock thing sort of like is in that, it pays homage to like the early days, classic hip hop, but also kind of moves into modern day territory. But as Questlove, no, wait, was it Questlove or was it Black Thought? I heard on NPR, they did an interview on, I don't want to misattribute this, but one of them I heard an interview with talking about modern day hip hop, and it was like, I hear modern day hip hop, I just can't understand modern day hip hop, And I thought that was a very open minded way of recognizing its value and the current people who are on the scene. What the fuck do I know? I'm a fucking white guy here, like talking about hip hop, like whatever. Right. I hear I like what I hear. What can I tell you?
Look, I've resigned myself to I'm of a certain age, and it's not for me.
That too.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be for me. I like it when it is, but But you know what is for me is a little band called Phish. You might be wondering if you're watching the.
Now we're talking.
You might be wondering why I'm wearing this holy shirt, but this is a Phish. This is a Phish shirt. This was from the very first Phish show I ever went to, which was at the Man Music Center, summer of '94, and it was the show that made me a Phish fan. I wasn't a Phish fan going into it, but I was 1,000% a Phish fan coming out of it. And recently, Phish released their latest album, Evolve, which is a pretty good album. I don't know, Phish isn't an album band, so like I don't even know how to review a Phish album, but Trey Anastasio from the band Phish, the frontman and kind of main musical kind of craftsman behind it all. He has been doing a press tour that has been absolutely amazing. He did an interview with Vulture where he talked about the greatest and weirdest Phish moments that they've had as a band. There was an incredible interview where he talked a lot about his age and his mortality with Rolling Stone. And then just this week, the Marc Maron WTF interview dropped where he actually spent a good portion of it talking about something that I've never really heard him dive into, which was the Phish scene and how it played into his drug abuse and then eventual recovery. So I have just been on a total Phish tear with the release of this new album and all the press, and going back to all of this kind of old stuff that was so important to me when I was younger. And I won't even say I grew out of it. I just kind of, I guess, lost it for a while. But are you a Phish guy?
I am a new Phish guy. I'm a relatively new Phish guy. Yeah. First of all, I grew up a Deadhead. Right. I still am a Deadhead. I still listen to Grateful Dead incessantly. All of my really close friends are really into Phish. And, I never really understood that Phish, for many years, it was not about the albums they put out. It was about the live show. So my very first, I'm new to this. My live Phish conversion came in December 2019 when they played the Met.
Wow.
Okay. I had never seen them before because I always kind of dismissed them. I didn't really know what it was about. And they were like, yeah, they're kind of like the Dead. If you like the Dead, you're going to like Phish. I'm like, nah, nobody's like the Dead. But I've since learned that there's nobody like Phish either, right? And I can't tell you names of songs, although they're starting to come to me. And I go to 2 or 3 Phish shows a year now. In fact, I'm going to see them in Connecticut next Wednesday or Thursday night. I'm very excited about that show.
Very cool.
I don't know the song titles. All I know is that they are phenomenal, incredible musicians, live band, and they take me to a place. And I don't drink, I don't do drugs. They take me there naturally. So that's my answer to, am I a Phish guy? So I'm a Phish guy now. Right.
It's funny. It's funny because it is that kind of live element. Like once you start to kind of understand and you watch these guys, not just play their songs, but the improvisation and just the way they're connected as as almost like one unit on that stage. That's what made me a fan. Like
Yeah.
you know, and you can kind of hear it on the albums and stuff like that, but you kind of have, like, I know it sounds cliche to be like, oh, but you got to see them live, but
Right.
you got to see them live.
Yeah, you got to see them live. That is one band you got to see live. Right, exactly. And hey, if it's not your cup of tea, as they say, that's cool. You know, that's cool.
That's exactly right. So we decided today that both of our old selections are going to be Phish songs. And since you're the newest to the Phish family, how about you go first with your Phish pick?
All right. Well, I'm going with Tweezer, right? I'm going with Tweezer. Like, that was one of the first live songs when I saw them play where that just drew me in. Now, listen, it's important to know I'm also a Little Feat guy, right? And there's a side of Phish that when they get into the groove, they just take it home. They just take it far, and they take it wide sometimes, but they bring it home. And Tweezer, for me, just like knocked me out the first time I heard it live. So here we go. We got a little Tweezer. It's Phish. You know, it's the groove part of Phish. I also like the psychedelic part of the Phish when they go a little prog rocky sometimes also. But there you go, little Tweezer. And what side of Phish are you sharing today?
So what I decided to share this week, I told you last night, and I'll tell the listeners, I was torn between, now, do I help the audience with an easy entry into Phish, or do I go into the weeds and I go absolutely sick? And I decided to get a little demented. I put my sicko t-shirt on, I stood at the window, and I ha-ha'd. And so this is, my selection is a live version. It's from Live Phish Volume 2. And without even thinking about this, I didn't even realize it until doing pre-show stuff with you here. This actually comes from a recording from July 16th, 1994, and we're recording this July 16th, 2024. So
wow.
This is precisely 30 years to the day. The show, yes,
Well, yeah.
But exactly 30 years to the day, and it just happened to be. The song I picked is a song called The Lizards, and it comes from, I'll give you a very brief rundown of this. Trey, for his senior thesis, wrote this piece called The Man Who Stepped Into Yesterday, and it's an epic arc of narration and music based around this concept of this world named called Gamehenge. All right, which is, it's better known as Gamehenge. They most recently performed it in full at New Year's Eve. Surprisingly, first time I think they've played anything from it since I think 93 or 94 in its entirety, and it's amazing. This is my favorite song from the Gamehenge experience, and it is called The Lizards. And so let's listen to a little bit of that right now. Just a vibe. I mean, just an absolute vibe. And like, one of the things about Gamehenge that I always have to kind of mention here is that when I was in college, I had this grand project that I wanted to pitch the band. I was big into news groups, and I was in rec.phish.net all the time. I spent all my time there tape trading and all that kind of stuff. And I kept trying to get a hold of the band or somebody in the band because I wanted to pitch them an idea I had for a film version of Gamehenge that used the Jim Henson Studios to make Muppets of all of the inhabitants of Gamehenge, and then there would be a live actor a la Bowie in Labyrinth playing the Colonel Forbin character. And I thought it would have been absolutely amazing. I still think it'll be absolutely amazing. I kind of still want to pitch it to them, but The Lizards was always just like my happy place. It's just such a happy little bouncy vibe, and it goes into great places. A lot of great solos throughout it. Everybody gets a piece. And that's one of my favorite things about Phish is there's no song where it's like, oh, well, this is a Trey song. Oh, well, this is like no, it's everybody, and everybody eats.
That point is spot on. That is one of the best articulations of like what they do best live. Like, touche.
Yeah,
Touché.
It's fantastic. So there's a little Phish for you. Definitely check that out. We'll have everything linked on the playlist, both these and our new selections, of course. And, of course, you can still always vote for your favorite piece on Spotify through the app. You can email us if you want to email us for any reason. I don't know why you would do that. Too old, too new, musicpod@gmail.com. I always forget that exists. So, that's what we got for you this week. You can always find us on the socials. I'm at Yo That's My Jawn on everything. Bruce is at Some Velvet Blog on everything. You can hear Bruce every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on WXPN, and you can hear me from 5 to 8 p.m. every Monday on Why Not Radio, plus every other week an episode of the Yo That's My Jawn podcast. This week's episode is an interview with Suge Daniels, and it's one of my favorite things in the world because she's one of my favorite people in the world. And Bruce, you get mentioned in it, so you might want to check it out.
Suge is the best. I fucking love Suge, man. She's amazing.
The greatest, just the warmest, most joyous person ever. And I'm so happy we finally got to chat. Yeah. So that's our show this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Bruce, thanks for everything as always.
All right, my man. See you soon.